All right, number 19, let's build you a business, not a new job, right? A business, not a job. So my definition of a business is this. If I can go on vacation for 2 weeks and it still runs and I still make money, then I have a business because it operates independent from me. Okay, I may have put a lot of effort into it, but I've built something that goes to a certain degree on its own. Okay, so I want to talk to you. This is, we're going to dive a bit into some of the subtle underlying psychological issues that really prevent people from actually fully embracing a lot of the stuff we've learned so far. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about Robert Kiyosaki's book, The Cash Flow Quadrant. Okay, so here we go. This is the cash flow quadrant. We have 4 quadrants, 4 different ways of making money, and we're going to relate them a bit to network marketing. So I have an employee over here, right? You work for somebody, you trade time for money. You may make good money, but you have to go to work to make money, okay? Self-employed people, business owners, and investors. So the self-employed person, maybe like you're a plumber and you work for somebody else, and you're like, I can do this better, and so you start your own plumbing business, right? You typically start off as a self-employed person, right? And often you become a self-employed person because you're just better at it than everybody else, okay? And you have great attention to details and no one else can do it quite as good as you can do it, right? The problem is now your business definitely owns you, right? If you don't participate, everything shuts down. Now you see this in network marketing as well, right? The people may be really good at selling and explaining, but everyone comes back to you. You become customer service for everybody. You do the presentations. You do all the explaining, right? And so that's a problem. And see, moving from the left hand to the right hand is difficult. So a business owner invests in systems, okay? And an investor invests in business owners, okay? So the most money I've made in network marketing is when I was doing a lot of this. I had people I had found who were good at building systems, and I invested in them in terms of their mindset and their emotional health and making sure they were functioning well as people, right? Because I was investing in these other business owners. So the big problem that prevents people from shifting over here, it's often the ego. What do I mean? Well, you see, no one can do it quite as good as I can do it. And my value and my identity are dependent on things being perfectly. And I tried to tell you how to do it, but you couldn't do it as well as I could do it, so screw it, I'm just gonna do it on my own, right? See, a system will never be 100% as good as the best self-employed person, right? Because you're the real professional, right? And no system will ever do it as good, and you can't handle it being 70% as good as you could do it, right? It just bothers you. It's got to be perfect or not at all. Like it's just this, like you have to have more control. And a lot of it is you don't actually have that good of leadership skills. You don't have the ability to encourage people, affirm them, build them up, empower them, kind of push them out of the nest. Like, okay, well, guess who's doing the presentation next week? It's you, Bob. Bob's like, no. You're like, Bob, you can do it. I believe in you. This is going to be awesome. Go for it. Instead of just continuing to do all the calls for people all the time because no one can do it as good as you can, right? So this shift over is huge. Now, one of the problems and one of the frustrations I find in doing network marketing is I can see people, they're building their business and it looks like it's working. What do I mean? It's like people are signing up. The business is growing. But I can see in terms of their mindset and approach that they are going down the wrong road. They are going down the self-employed person road. And maybe they're having some success. Maybe they're signing up a lot of people. Maybe everyone's like, oh my God, Susie, you're killing it. Look how many people you recruited this month. Okay, but Susie talked all those people into it, right? And Susie's starting to work herself to death, even though her business isn't that big, right? And so what's going to happen is she thinks she's doing it the right way. And so she's going to double down on how much time she spends doing it that way, even though it's not the right way. And what's going to happen, she's going to run into a ceiling, right? Because it's so much of it's dependent on her. She'll go, oh, it's working, keep going. And it's like, she's like, I can't break through this income barrier on a certain size, because there's a certain size organization that one person all on their own can run as a self-employed person, right? And they can't move past that, because remember, don't do anything when you're small that you can't do when you're big. They never got that message. They never gave themselves over to the system, right? And so they just run headlong into a wall, right? Thinking that there's no wall. And then they hit the wall, there's like, well, I gotta get around the wall. But they, with the same approach, they start to break through the wall, and it will never work. So I know, I've met plenty of people who've had a large network marketing organizations and flat out worn themselves out. And I've had other times in my life where I've actually done this well, and it seems like the more money I made, the less work I had to do. Why? Because I was absolutely given over to systems and to empowering other people and training leaders instead of doing it myself. So the ego is a sneaky thing, right? It's like, again, be very careful about letting your value and your identity be dependent on how well you are performing, what other people think of you, or how institutions honor you. Be comfortable with the mistakes. Be comfortable with it not being 100%, and connect to like divine love forming your identity. And that way you can be wholehearted and you can let go of some things, and life will be much easier for you, especially in business.